Good morning, my name is Michael Wilson, owner of Emergency Mitigation Services. I've been a licensed insurance adjuster for almost a decade. I've worked every hurricane since Irma in 2017. I've worked for over 30 different insurance carriers throughout my career. I've been an independent adjuster as well as a staff adjuster for the largest TPA firm in the world. Today, I want to go ahead and walk through an exterior inspection with you for hail damage. I want this video to serve as a baseline tutorial on how to do a proper exterior inspection for hail damage. I want all of my sales reps and all of the members to be doing a uniform inspection, producing a uniform photo report to send to the carriers. That way we're all on the same page, we're all documenting the damages in the same manner, the same fashion. We're all capturing all of the damages, not just the roof, and we have tips and tricks to show the different types of damage and the severity of the damage. The house behind me was recently denied 2 different times from a hail claim. The carrier denied it originally. Another roofing company came out, sent in their photos, and requested a forensic engineer. The engineer sent in a report basically denying the claim as hail damage. We're here today to do our own documentation, our own inspection, produce our own photo report. We're going to verify the damages, and we're going to hire our own forensic engineer to dispute their engineer. Once they open up coverage, the game is on. I want everybody to start their photo report the same way. That's going to be a front elevation overview of the property, and we need to get an address verification, proving that we're at the address that we say we are. After the front elevation overview and the address verification, we're going to start at the front elevation all the way to the left. We're going to do top-down inspection and work our way from left to right in order on every elevation. I want you to get all of the gutters. Whenever you're taking photos of your gutters, I want you to depict which gutter it is on that elevation. For example, this is the first gutter downspout that I came across, so I'm going to put 1 in my photo, indicating that this is the first downspout of the front elevation. We need an overview showing the orientation where the downspout is located, and then we need a close-up of the damage. We've got 2 hail hits on this downspout. We'll move on to the next one. When you're looking at your gutters, you can sometimes see the hail hits from the ground. A lot of times, you're gonna have to be on the roof to verify the hail hits on the gutter lip. When we get to this area, I'll show you, we do have some verified hail hits on the gutter itself. Normally, you wanna be looking at the screens, the windows, the sills, the sides. On this house, there's no damage on any of the windows, and they don't have screens on the bottom half, so we're good on the windows. We're gonna be focusing primarily on the gutters and downspouts right now. Okay, this is the second downspout of the front elevation. We're gonna give it a number 2, an overview, and then a close-up. Again, we have 2 hail hits on this downspout. Here in this section right here, I couldn't reach it, but we're gonna get pictures of the chalk when we get on the roof. We've got a hail hit right here. And we've got another one right here. When I get my ladder, we're gonna go ahead and chalk it up, and we'll do a star indicating damage on the exterior side of the gutters. All right, so for this section of gutters, we found 2 hail hits on the gutter exterior. We went ahead and marked it right here and marked it right here. We gave them 2 stars indicating that they're hail damage gutters. And then on top of the roof, we went ahead and drew big arrows showing the location of the hail hits on the gutter. That way, when we fly our drone or we're taking overview shots of the slope, we can easily identify how many hits are on that gutter slope and where they are located. We're standing here on the right elevation of the property now. I wanted to touch on some of the additional things that we're going to be looking for. This house particularly does not have what we're looking for, but on other houses, we're going to be looking for vinyl siding damage where the hail has penetrated and left holes in the vinyl siding. This house is actually stucco. There's no damage on the exterior stucco siding of this house. Another thing that we're going to be looking at is the garage doors. This house does not have any damage to the garage doors, but again, I want you to start at the top left of the door, and I want you to thoroughly scan, moving from left to right, come down, and then finally at the bottom. And I want you to look as thoroughly as possible. If you find something, just pull out your chalk and mark it up. Another thing that we need to look at is light fixtures. This house does not have any damage to them, but you want to look at any glass, light fixtures, any broken glass, any dents or dings or anything like that from the storm. This house does not have it because the gutters are in the way, but another thing we're looking at is the fascia metal. So when you get your ladder up there, I want you to try to find some dents and dings in the fascia metal as well. This house, the gutters are covering it and protecting it. All right, before we even step on the roof, there's a couple of things that we need to document and take photos of. Number one is the pitch of the roof. I've got an app on my phone called Pitch Factor. That's what I always use. Looks like it's an 11 pitch. So we're gonna take a photo of that to include in our photo report. And then also, it'll mentally prepare me on what am I gonna expect on this roof? How serious is this roof that I'm dealing with? Number two, we want to look at the number of layers on the shingles. So you're going to lift up this top layer and you're just going to look and verify, is there another layer underneath? This is only one layer. So you're going to take a photo showing one. If it had 2 layers, you would do 2 and 3 and so on. Another thing you need to look at is what kind of felt is on the decking. This has that black paper felt. Usually it's 15-pound felt. That's important because if the policy has ordinance and law coverage, we can get synthetic felt approved every time. The last thing we need to look at is if they have a drip edge. This does not have a drip edge. However, the gutters and the fascia are designed in a way that a drip edge is not needed. And then while we're also on the eave of the roof, we want to take a look at the gutter lip. This has a gutter guard, so it's mainly protecting the gutters from hail damage. If the gutter guard was not present on this roof, we would be scanning and feeling the gutter lip. Here's a hail hit I just found. So we're going to mark that right there. We're going to take a picture of that. And then we're going to write a big arrow showing the location of that hail hit on the gutter. All arrows represent a gutter hail hit. All right, as soon as we get on the roof, the first thing that I immediately go to is all of the soft metals. That's going to tell the story on whether or not there was actually hail here and how severe the hail was. So as soon as I climbed up the ladder, I came to the very first rain cap vent that I could find. I looked at it and saw that it was completely peppered. All right, so I didn't get too far on the roof until I saw this. So I wanted to kind of bring that to your guys' attention. Insurance is going to claim that this was an improper installation, not wind damage. You can see that the nails actually are no longer fastening the shingle properly. It went all the way through. They're going to claim that it was installation error, that they overdrove the shingles or the nails. It went all the way through the shingle. My argument to that is, do you see these creasings right here, this creasing mark? There's another one right here. Crease, crease, only in this section here where we have this damage. I would assume that the wind lifted these shingles where it was creased and actually lifted the shingle, driving the shingle past that nail. which is causing this damage here. So that's just one thing that I'm going to indicate on my report. I'm going to make sure I got photos of the crease marks, and that's what I'm going to label in my photo report, what my opinion is on this damage. All right, guys, when you're on the roof, I want you to start at the front slope. The way I want you to do your inspection is you're going to do the same way that you did on the elevations. You're going to start at the front, top, left. You're going to work top down from left to right. We're not going to mess with hail test squares. This has already been denied twice. We're documenting everything. So we're going to mark up every slope the entire way. We're not going to just cut it at a test square. All right, so I'm going to climb up here. I'm going to look at every single shingle. Every inch of the slope is going to be analyzed and documented. All right, the way I'm doing this is I'm going to start on one section. I'm going to look it over as I move to the right. I'm walking to the right, then I'm going to take a step down and walk to the left, step down, walk to the right. That way I'm looking at every inch of the slope. All right, I found one right here. What I want you to do is when you find something that you think is hail, I want you to get your finger and put it in there. I want you to feel the indentation that the hail hit has left on the shingle. If you can feel an indentation, you're gonna circle that. So right here, we've got missing granules and we can actually feel an indentation. We're gonna circle that, that's hail. When you're doing your hail inspection and you come across a wind damaged shingle, I want you to go ahead and mark that. Right here, you can see the creasing on the shingle here and here. So we're just gonna do a slash and another slash, indicating wind damage. All right, we're still inspecting the front slope. I came across this hail damage here. I wanted to stop and talk about it and show you guys. If you zoom in and get close, you'll see it's actually, there's a hole, if you can see that. And so the way we document holes is we're gonna circle it like usual, and we're gonna put a big star next to it. So now when we throw our drone or when we get an overview shot of this slope, we know how many holes are pierced through the shingle and where are they located. Usually you're gonna find the best holes in the valleys and on the hip and ridge. And so that's what we wanna do. We wanna document every single hole. A lot of people will say, well, that's just a nail pop. It's not a nail pop. If you lift the shingle up and you look, there's actually no nail underneath. So what that tells me is that this is a legitimate hail hit that pierced through the shingle. That's damage that the carrier needs to cover. All right, so we've completed this middle front slope section. We're gonna count how many hail hits we found, how many wind hits we found, and we're gonna write that documentation on the middle of the slope. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We've got 13 hail hits. So we're gonna do H equals 13. We've got 2 wind damage shingles. So we're gonna go W equals 2. We've got gutters here. So we're gonna go GUT. That's gonna be for gutters. And we've got documentation of the pierced shingle. I'm not gonna write anything about that, but we'll document that. So that's what you wanna see as far as documentation. If they had any pipe jacks or turbine vents or any kind of accessories, we would write that here as well. All right, so we're done with the front slope. We're gonna take our photos. The way I want you to take photos is I want a broad overview of the entire slope, if you can get it. Preferably, I want an overview from the left looking right, and then another one from the right looking left. And then I want to see as many hail hits in that overview as you can. And then I want a transition showing maybe 2 or 3 hail hits. And then I want a close-up showing in detail the actual damage of the granules. So we'll do that now. Overview. All right, guys, after our roof inspection's complete, we always want to grab a shingle sample. We're going to take this shingle sample, send it off to either ITEL or NTS for two reasons. Number one, we want to be able to match the shingle if it's still in production. Number two, we want to see if it's discontinued. If it is discontinued, that gives us a whole lot of leverage to get the full roof replacement approved through the insurance process. So we're just going to grab one shingle off of the rear of the slope. That way it doesn't show to the community. All right, guys, so that concludes today's inspection. We did a full 360 walk around the exterior of the property. We found hail damage to all downspouts on every elevation. We actually found some hail damage to the gutters on the exterior gutter and the gutter lip as well. We marked that with arrows on the roof. We got up on the roof. We found wind damage. We found hail damage on every slope. We found pierced shingles on every slope. We've indicated all the pierced shingles by using stars, so that way they're easily identifiable through the drone and our overview photos. From here, we're going to produce a photo report. We're going to label in detail everything that we're looking at in our photo report. We're going to label it how the adjuster wants it labeled, in order how the adjuster wants it. So that way it's easily digestible to the adjuster. He knows exactly what he's looking at, and he can follow us along on our inspection journey. One thing that we didn't get to include in this inspection is the screens on the windows. This house actually didn't have any window screens, but I want to show you guys, I'll throw in some B-roll right here of what to do when you come across screens that are damaged by hail. You want to circle the hail hits on the screen, and then what is easy is do F for front elevation and then the number 1, and you write that directly on the screen. When you come across your second screen, you're going to go F2 and you circle your damage. That way you know it's the front elevation, second screen. You do that, so on and so forth for the front elevation. You're going to use R for the right elevation, B for the back, and L for the left elevation. That way, when you're looking at your photos, you can easily identify what elevation it is and which screen it is. All right, so now that we're done with our inspection of the exterior and the roof, we've gathered our shingle. The next step for me is we're going to send that shingle off to either NTS or ITEL. We're going to get a positive identification. I believe it is a discontinued shingle, so that's going to favor us. All we have to do is have the carrier extend coverage for one shingle, and we get the entire slope. There's damage on every single slope. I really believe that we're going to get this entire roof bought and paid for by insurance, even though they denied it 2 times, and even though they had an engineer come out. We're going to hire our own engineer. We're going to get him scheduled. We're paying for that out of pocket. We're going to wait for his report. I'm 100% confident he's going to have a positive report for us. We're going to send that engineer report to the insurance carrier. That's going to get them to reopen the claim and probably extend a reinspection. At that point in time, we'll have our engineer complete the reinspection with the new adjuster. At that point, we need them to extend coverage. That's the most important step in the process. Once they extend coverage, whether it's wind or hail, the gutters, they've got to admit that there is a covered peril loss on this property. We're going to take them to appraisal. The appraisal process is a whole nother process in and of itself, but that's where you're going to get all of your line items approved plus OMP.